With an estimated fortune of $75 billion, Warren Buffett is one of the richest men in the entire world. In 1962, when he began buying stock in Berkshire Hathaway, a share cost $7.50. Today, Warren Buffett is Berkshire's chairman and CEO, and one share of the company's Class A stock worth close to $288,000. He credits his astonishing success to several key strategies. Here are some of Warren Buffett's money-making secrets and how they could work for you. Rule number 1. Reinvest your profits. When you first make money, you may be tempted to spend it. Don't. Instead, reinvest the profits. Buffett learned this early on. In high school, he and a pal bought a pinball machine to put in a barber shop. With the money they earned, they bought more machines until they had 8 in different shops. When the friends sold the venture, Buffett used the proceeds to buy stocks and to start another small business. Warren knows about the power of compound interest. Today, Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway does not pay a dividend. Instead, he reinvests his shareholders' profits into Berkshire. Rule number 2. Be willing to be different. Don't base your decisions upon what everyone is saying or doing. When Buffett began managing money in 1956 with $100,000 coupled together from a handful of investors, he was dubbed an oddball. He worked in Omaha, not on Wall Street, and he refused to tell his partners where he was putting their money. People predicted that he'd fail, but when he closed his partnership 14 years later, it was worth more than $100 million. Rule number 3. Never suck your thumb. Gather all the information and research you need to come to a decision. Then ask a trusted friend or relative to make sure you stick to your deadline. Buffett has always prided himself on making decisions quickly and acting on it. He calls any sitting around, contemplating the situation, thumb-sucking. Rule number 4. Spill out the deal before you start. Your bargaining leverage is always greatest before you begin a job. That's when you have something to offer that the other party wants. Buffett learned this lesson the hard way as a kid when his grandfather Ernest hired him and a friend to dig out the family grocery store after a blizzard. The boys spent 5 hours shuffling until they could barely straighten their frozen hands. Afterward, his grandfather gave the pair less than 90 cents to split. Ever since then, Buffett has refused to negotiate. He states his price and sticks to it. Rule number 5. Watch small expenses. Buffett invests in businesses run by managers who obsess over the tiniest costs. He once acquired a company whose owner counted the sheets and rolls of toilet paper to make sure he wasn't being cheated. It turns out he was being cheated. There were less than the 500 sheets he'd paid for. Rule number 6. Limit what you borrow. Buffett has never borrowed a significant amount, not to invest, not for a mortgage. He has gotten many heart-rending letters from people who thought their borrowing was manageable but became overwhelmed by debt. His advice: negotiate with creditors to pay what you can. Then, when you're debt-free, work on saving some money that you can use to invest. Rule number 7. Be persistent. With tenacity and ingenuity, you can win against a more established competitor. Buffett acquired the Nebraska Furniture Mart in 1983 because he liked the way its founder, Rose Plumpkin, did business. A Russian immigrant, she built the mart from a pawn shop into the largest furniture store in North America. Her strategy was to undersell the big shots, and she was a merciless negotiator. Rule number 8. Know when to quit. Once, when Buffett was a teen, he went to the racetrack. He bet on a race and lost. To recoup his funds, he bet on another race. He lost again, leaving him with close to nothing. He felt sick. He had squandered nearly a week's earnings. Buffett never repeated that mistake. Rule number 9. Assess the risks. In 1995, the employer of Buffett's son, Howie, was accused by the FBI of price fixing. Buffett advised Howie to imagine the worst and best case scenarios if he stayed with the company. His son quickly realized that the risks of staying far outweighed any potential gains, and he quit the next day. Rule number 10. Know what success really means. Despite his wealth, Buffett does not measure success by dollars. In 2006, he pledged to give away almost his entire fortune to charities, primarily the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. He's adamant about not funding monuments to himself, no Warren Buffett buildings or halls. He once said, "When you get to my age, you will measure your success in life by how many of the people you want to have love you actually do love you. That's the ultimate test of how you've lived your life." If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe to this channel and hit the like button. Thanks for watching.